Welcome to another series of Tirtha Conversations with Women at the Top. Now, what do I mean by the top? Women who are at the top of their vision, top of their creation. They've mastered their craft. They are creating something that's making a difference for themselves and other women. And Tamara and I just got reconnected because we were just working out, and she's going to introduce herself in a moment and share more about her. But Tamara and I were just sharing, we met each other in a mutual friend's kitchen in Miami in 2022. And we had that kismet connection. We just knew when we met, we're like, oh my God, I love you. It was just like that with Tamar. And I'm so happy and delighted. Not only is Tamar a Tirtha member, but she's my friend and someone who I think I can personally learn from and grow with and create with. And anyway, so we're going to hear more about her and what she's up to and why I think it'll make a huge difference for all women watching the wisdom that Tamar has for women. So Tamar, tell us a little bit about you and what you're currently up to. And then I really want to get into the journey here a little bit, but just start with an introduction.
Thank you, Joe. I'm so happy to be here with you as well. So hello, everyone. My name is Tamar Gail. You could consider me a modern day mystic and an oracle, so to speak, of the modern world. I am also a keeper of what is known as the feminine mysteries. And as that, I'll explain a little bit about that as we go, but as that, I created and founded what is known as the feminine codes. And the feminine codes are what I use to guide women through their own portals of remembrance, their own awakening processes, and awakening this ancient wisdom that we have encoded within our bodies, within our wombs, our voice. So my teachings are really what's rooted in this mystical lineage of the feminine, of the original feminine archetype, the primordial mother. And how I see it is that we are living temples of the Great Mother, of the earth, and we have this ability to transform our lives and really become this magnetic and sacred feminine archetype for the world, really embodied as this original feminine archetype. And so my work is really a devotional path of helping women return to their truth, return to their embodied essence, their beauty, their what is known as the divine feminine essence, and really stepping into the world from that space. I would say that my lineage is a little bit more of the rose lineage, if you've ever heard of that. And also, um, yeah, I I'm really just here to help women step into their truth so they can really redefine what it means to be a woman, redefine what it means to be a woman in leadership, and how we shift humanity from coming from that place.
This is so cool because I've played for many years now, this idea of being a modern day mystic, but as a CEO in the business side.
Yeah.
And we say terminology, we say labels, we say things. All of us have our own expression of saying things, right? But each of us bring our own flavor to what it is, our own wisdom to what we're creating. And it's so funny to Mum because I've never heard this from you. I would not say I am someone who's actively gone and studied what does it mean to be a divine feminine? What is my archetype? What is my wisdom? What is my heritage? And at the same time, I'm naturally the embodiment of creating it without knowing it.
You are.
Yeah, so one of my friends and excuse me, dear friends in the community, she always, and I'm sure you know this term, she goes, Joe, you don't need to know, you're the way shower. And I didn't even know what that was. You know what I mean? It's just like this whole other world to me of this conversation of what it means to be a woman. And to complete something else, I've been writing to Mar just these conversations of what it means for us to be a rose as women. So the fact that you just said there's this rose lineage, I'm like, what are we talking about? You're going to educate me on stuff I don't even know. I've been creating the story between a rose bush and a spider, and how the rose is the feminine, and how the spider protects the beauty of the rose and the relationship between them as the inner and outer relationship. But I didn't know there was a rose lineage. So can you just talk to me and educate me and educate any other woman out there who's not knee deep in this conversation? How did you even get into this? Like, what's your story? Because you must have fell into this somewhere, somehow.
Yeah, so that's a really, yes. Um,
Sorry, did I just
no,
ask
no,
too
no,
big a
no.
question?
It is a really loaded question. And so
Right.
I would say that really it started when I was a child.
Mm,
I had this connection to the earth that was quite magical and mystical, that is, has been always very hard for me to put into words. And so even as a child, having this connection, um, I would say that my first initiation, which I didn't understand because we come from a society where we don't have the elders that teach us these lineages, these ancient wisdom teachings. We don't have that. We don't have that guidance in our society today. And so my first initiation came when I was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and I
mm.
had a run in with a snake. And it wasn't just a regular snake. It was in the middle of town and on the sidewalk, and it sat there and it hissed at me. And because I was reading a book as I was walking, and so I wasn't paying any attention to where I was going. And all of a sudden I heard that, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I put the book down, and the snake is sitting right in front of me hissing. And I'm like, okay, back up, cross the street. And I was going to my friend's house. So I started like, the snake chased me.
What?
It chased me, really, I swear to you, it chased me from the other side of the street. I crossed the street, was going down the street. It turned around and chased me down the street and went up a tree and was waiting for me. And I was scared to death because I was taught to be scared of snakes. And so I was beating on my friend's door. I'm like, let me in, let me in. Nobody believed me that the snake was chasing me. And so it's something I'll never forget. But I didn't understand the initiation of it at that point. And now, as I've kind of gone through my own journey, I can look back and I can understand what that was representing in my life. That's actually my own, it's a part of my lineage. And so the initiation is into womanhood. It's initiation into the next phase of um, rite of a passage as a woman. And so when we get our period as a woman, we transition into that next phase of womanhood. And there's no going back. But that snake was definitely a representative of the transformational death and rebirth processes that I will be going through and have been going through my whole life. And it's beautiful because it's what reconnects us with our soul. It's that healing. And that snake also comes back to me in a different story during my shamanic journey. Um, that the snake showed up much, much on a bigger, larger scale. So it's always been with me. I would say that was the first initiation into the path that I'm on. The second initiation that I had, or spiritual awakening, when I was 18 or 19, about 10 years later. And it was in nature. It was the call of adventure. It was the call of spirit. And so this connection to spirit, which happened through a sunset, shifted my whole perspective. And it was just driving, and then bam, it hit me. And it was that I understood that spirit wasn't everything. And all that I had felt when I was a child, this connection to the earth, this magical, etherical connection, was spirit permeating everything.
Mm,
Every living, not in, I say living, but in the rocks and the soil and the plants and the trees. And I understood everything in that moment. But I got lost and I deviated from my path. And I was brought back into trying to understand my own shadow, trying to heal ancestral lineage, my ancestral and lineage karma that I had to heal in this lifetime, my own birth story, all of these things. I went on a really deep journey of trying to heal, and that opened up the whole world to me. And that is really when everything began to shift. I started using shamanic practices, journeying, going through past lives, reintegrating those soul fragments that I had lost along the way, and really understanding who I was on a soul level, and then reintegrating all of that. And so that is really what took me on my path that I'm now on. And little by little, those pieces just continued to fall into place and to open up to show me this pathway of the rose, which I really didn't understand, because it wasn't that I had teaching specifically on the rose path. But when I understood that all of the paths that I had went on and all the pieces that I had picked up, one day it just clicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is all a part of the same lineage. It's all a part of the same path. And it all goes back to the connection that I had as a child to the Great Mother, to what I call now the Father, Mother, God. It's all in one, the divine, the masculine and feminine, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a process of awakening. I would say that that journey specifically started in the end of 2013.
It's so good and such a rich conversation for us as women to have, because, you know, there isn't much conversation in the everyday world to look at, you know, who are you on a soul level? How is your experience of living life even connected to your soul? And as women, you know, this is something that we connected on recently when we just met each other in Miami. And like you, Tamar, as a child, you would always find me in the garden. I was more out than I was in. I would sit there with ladybugs on me. I would chase animals. Do you know what I mean? I was so at home with slugs, worms, grasshoppers, you name it. I could just be with all these little creatures. And then I remember all my first books were all fairies. So I was very much in that ethereal, in the garden, connected kind of way. And look, that was what, 45 years ago, maybe more. And like you, I lost my way, but I didn't lose my way. I lost my connection.
Yes.
And I was sharing, and I think there's going to, now, look, if you're listening in, please look for yourself, because we want this to be of value to you. Is there's so many people right now doing journeys and doing ayahuasca and doing mind altering this, that, and everything, right? And look, have you and I done a lot of stuff? We have done a lot of stuff to take us into a different realm, to get connected to a bigger whatever it is you're into. So this conversation is not discrediting any of that. Whatever is part of your journey at that time, that's your time for that exploration, right? But recently, for me, like this year has been one of the hardest years I've gone through on a soul level. The middle of this year, I had the experience of being stabbed in the stomach, being stabbed in the back, and it wasn't from this life. Mm. And I knew that for the first time ever, that this experience that I was having was so deep, and I couldn't get myself out of it. It wasn't connected to anything in reality, but I knew I was in it and I had to heal it, whatever the thing I was in. So that happened, right? So kind of just this whole soul awakening. I think I had my first real soul awakening this year. And when you're going through that and you don't know that's what you're going through, that's got to be the most unsettling, frightening, you've lost your mind experience.
Yeah.
For people to go through, because men must go through it. It isn't just women. Mm-hmm. But we're talking on a women level. And then what I love about you, and I do want to talk about this, is not only does that soul awakening going on, but my disconnection and safety with nature. And I can't remember when it happened, when I started to be afraid of going outside in the dark. I would live in a forest for days. I remember sleeping. I mean, I used to put my mum through a heart attack. I would sleep outside for days. It was so my space to be in nature, and then to be at 51 afraid to go out into the garden with the dogs at night. So when did I become afraid of darkness? So share a little bit about this work that you're creating for women like me who don't want to do any more mushrooms. I don't want to go on a journey. I just want to get connected back to bloody Mother Earth.
Yeah, so yes, like you said, I have also tried, different things.
Yeah.
But it is also my belief that everything that we need, everything that we need to access is within us. We have the ability to connect with whatever we connect with. Sorry, there's whatever we connect with
Yeah.
using psychedelics or using those, and I'm not, dismissing those, but we have all of that within us. And so what I'm offering is a vision quest. It's really a metamorphosis. It's like going back into that cocoon so that you can rearrange your cells to the magic that's already there, right? Because we're born with that. As you mentioned, as when we're children, we're born with a connection to our soul. And then we're programmed and we have to fit in with society because we're here in a human body and in this world with our families. So we forget a lot of that connection because of those things. But the whole process is remembering who we are, remembering our connection to that, to spirit, to soul, to the Great Mother, to Earth. And so what we see, and I'll just touch on this before I go any deeper, is that with the patriarchy, and when I say patriarchy, it's a system. It's not men, it's not, it's a system that we live with. Men and women, we both have been subjected to this. And so with that, it's also the diminishing the fear of the feminine. And the feminine, the earth, is also a part of the feminine. She is seen as the great mother. So when we diminish and we become this, have fear around the darkness, the descent into the underworld, the descent into our soul, to meet our soul, the descent in what we call, like as I said, the darkness or the underworld, then we're really afraid of the feminine.
Hmm.
And so our connection with the Great Mother is just a representation of that. It's a representation of the disconnection of the feminine, of the earth giving, life giving substance, of the soil. And so, really coming back to our connection with the earth is reconnecting with the mother, reconnecting with the feminine aspect of life. And what I'm offering is in the Vision Quest, it's an initiation into the next level of your adulthood, a next level of your we come together for 8 weeks and I take you through practices that are really getting you in touch with understanding your psyche, with understanding your subconscious, with being able to read the universe, the messages, because we're always in communication with spirit, with the universe, with our subconscious if we allow it. And so I'm teaching you these tools to really be able to journey through this metamorphosis and the best way possible so you could receive as much as you are ready for at that time. And then through the process, we are camping. You come to me, we come together, we connect with the earth, and then we begin our fasting. And fasting for 3 nights, and it's really about 4 days, it can feel intense, but it clears your body, it heals your cells, opens your channel, and so you can become this pure, open vessel for whatever needs to flow through you, for seeing the truth without all the clutter, We're disconnecting from phones. We're disconnecting from the material world. And we're really focusing on us and the descent to our soul, to accessing our gifts. And so there's a lot of time that people will hit a stage in their life, and sometimes that can look like midlife crisis. Sometimes that can be like a shakeup or a death of someone close to you, or a divorce, whatever that is. And you're at this stage where you're ready. You know that there's a shift happening. Maybe you feel like you're in this dark night of the soul, but that's the descent. That's also the descent to finding who you truly are, to finding and reaccessing those pieces. And so this is for all of that. It's really a reconnection with who you are, by going within and being in nature and connecting with the earth and using the earth as this tool to go deeper inside of yourself without the distractions. And it's powerful. It's really powerful.
It sounds powerful. I mean, I didn't know we were fasting for days either. I'm finding out what I've said yes to here. I'm like, shit, we're fasting too. I'm gonna be confronted by the fear. Now I'm like, I'm not eating. So, but I get what you're creating. And look, everyone. Tamar is a Tirtha member, so she is a living example of what it looks like to be a woman who's gone through an experience that either shifted her or transformed her, or in your case, awakened you. And now you've birthed not only this you that's been awakened, but you want to make a difference for other women. And now what you've seen for yourself, that to me is the new wave of female leadership. That is what collectively we're all doing together. We're all birthing these new creations and birthing these whole new ways to be, and bringing forth this expression of being a woman. But with you, Tamar, what's your vision for you right now, so women can be connected to why you want to do this?
Yes. So I've had this on and off throughout my life.
Yeah.
This slowing down, this desire to just live a slower life. I have worked in the corporate world. I tired of it. I stopped that a long time ago. It was just not for me. I've lived in Miami, I've lived in this. I'm ready to come back to the earth. I'm ready to come back to my cycle, my own feminine cycles, the earth cycles, to really honor my own rhythms and to get away from the noise of the world. Like it's a lot out there that we are experiencing on a daily basis. And I lived in New Zealand for a couple years, and in the mountains in Queenstown. I lived in the French Alps for 5 years. I've had these moments and pockets in my life where I really lived a slower life. And my body is craving that. Like, I know that this is the next step, is really bringing people back to presence, the way that I, see and experience the world. Presence is super important to me. And really, after being in South Florida, I am craving this change of the seasons. I'm craving this connection with the earth in a deeper, deeper level. And so my future vision, the countryside, connected to the earth, really beginning to lead, for myself, a slower way of living, connected with the cycles, to really go within. In the way that I teach, the winter that's coming up is to slow down. It's to self-nourish, to dream. What do you want to create in the new year? What do you envision as, what do you want to plant the seeds for in the spring? And really going within and creating that space, so that as the spring comes, as the summer comes, you are full power. You have your full energy to honor the life that you're creating, to honor what's coming through you, and with the full life force that's moving through you. But we don't do that in our society. We don't take that time. Actually, the holidays are in the end of the year, one of the busiest of the year. And we have no space and we have no time to really go within, and we feel like we don't. And so, how do we begin to honor that again? How do we come back to the sacred rhythms of life and of our bodies, And so that for me is what I want to create for myself more.
And I don't just hear it for you. I think there's a real, just working with you a little bit here, right? It's going to sound funny, okay? But you said the word modern at the beginning. And I think sometimes as women, where we can get hooked is an old way of being a woo-woo woman. And for me, I love that word modern, because I would love to honor and learn the natural sacredness and cycles of life, but still be able to live the life I'm in. It's not like I can just leave my job, leave my schedule, leave my clients, leave everything. But if there's a way now, Tamar, through what I'm creating and what you're creating, birthing this new approach in life, is really what I hear, that honors both us and what we're creating, but bringing through this wisdom that's there in us, is what I'm hearing. That's available for us to live a life of wisdom and honor of what it means to be this whole new way to be as a woman.
Exactly. It's more this ancient wisdom for the modern world.
Yes.
How do we integrate that into our own lives?
That is exactly what I want to explore, and that's exactly what I want to support you in and want to learn from. And we can look from both sides on how to kind of dance with this, because there's such beauty in it, but it's time even for that to get recreated.
Yes.
And I'm really trusting that you're the one to do it.
Thank you, Jo.
Yes.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's beautiful to really connect with that, the most ancient part of us, and be able to reintegrate that and bring that out into the world today as we are in this world. And how do we use our gifts as a woman, our soul gifts, to be of service?
Awesome. So on that note, we're going to leave it there. We just got a flavor of Tamar. You can just get that she is so beautiful, not just to look at. I mean, this is a beautiful woman, but to be with. And Tamar, thank you so much. And I'm personally looking forward to, I don't know, I'm terrified now. I'm terrified.
I should not have said fasting.
No. Oh my gosh. But I do get why though. But more to the point, I'm so happy you're with us. I'm so happy you're creating what you're creating, and to bring forth this lifestyle for us as women that's so long gone, that it isn't just about being connected or grounded anymore. That's like level A, just to have yourself connected and grounded, is really be the source of all this wisdom that's in you and your soul. That I don't know, I don't think too many women are tapped in either. So it's time to get reconnected. It's time to rediscover. And let's bring forth this vision of yours. So Tamar, thank you so much for being a Tirtha member, but more importantly, thanks so much for being you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, love you, babe.
Love you.